Hello folks, we're here today taping a Bunkai series from our style that we do here in the dojo, Ishinryu Karate. What we're trying to do is show the different ways to think outside of the box other than striking and kicking, although those are fine and good. We also like to think of the moves from a jiu-jitsu and aikido standpoint or whatever idea is in there. We've been taping the series for the first kata called Seisan. Today we're doing the piece in the middle, which I think if you translate is pure striking and ferociousness to take care of multiple attackers. So there's both a physical and a thematic issue in this piece. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're in the part of Seisan Kata where we've just done the three motions that look like this. We've covered that in a previous video for that piece. The next piece deals with, in a sense, multiple attacker scenario. So in the kata, there's a person to my left, a person to my current right, and then a person in front of me, which would be your perspective. What I like about this piece is the alertness or the ability to see in all directions mentality. So the first thing is to have peripheral vision and know where the people are. So I see the assailant, in this case Christopher, coming in. Depending on which hand he's coming in with will dictate what I would do. But he's going to come in the kata sense. He's going to come in with his right hand to punch at me, and I'm starting here, and as he comes in, I'm going to just turn and block. I covered earlier in the other video that I don't really like to just stand there and let a strike hit me unless ultimately I have to. So what I might do to adjust in that sequence is I might see it and move out a little bit more on an angle, as I said earlier in the previous video. Nonetheless, we'll just do it like the kata says for now. As he comes in, I would block. I would see immediate need to neutralize him. So the next two moves are two strong punches, most likely to his midsection. Assuming that was the beginning of it, it would also be a kick to whatever is available. We have to remember that if we do two strong punches, most likely he's doubled down, so he's here. So the kick would have to be determined based on where he's at. And then if the person hasn't been neutralized, then a final punch. So it would look like this in the kata. Now the next piece is where the mental alertness comes in. I knew there was multiple attackers to begin with. I neutralized Christopher. Now his buddy is behind me, and I don't quite know if this person's necessarily a problem yet, but as I look and I see him, same scenario, the kata repeats to, again, get both sides of the equation. So he'll come in, I block, I do the two punches, I kick, and I punch. Then I realize the third person is a problem. I'll just leave you there, Mr. Wall. As the person comes in, again, I turn, I do the two rapid punches, kick, and punch. For me, it is what it is in this section. It's just pure, strong, get it done kind of motion. You're taking out many attackers, and for me, you need striking as one of your primary tools when there's multiple attackers. You don't want to be getting into a grabbing and wrestling kind of motion when there's two or three people coming at you. So being able to stay alert, take one out, go to the next one, take one out, go to the next one is purely what this section's about. So watch Chris do that piece quickly just so you can see it. So Chris is here, and he's just going to do the whole scenario. So to finalize that centerpiece that we just talked about, where we did a lot of blocking, punching, and kicking, a couple different ways to train. You could just simply go into the space in your own privacy and just do many kicks over and over. You could do many punches over and over. You could do many double punches or maybe triple punches. And then there's that final punch in each piece of the sequence there, where it's kind of that final home run punch too. So just doing strong finishing punches to make sure that you have that focus and that intensity in that piece. So this is a piece where it's easy. You can do it on your own. You can practice turning and looking and being aware. You can practice turning and changing direction once you get to that piece. Think outside of the box. It doesn't have to be the same exact sequence. You could turn and pivot the other way. So if the camera here is my attacker, I could turn and do the sequence, for instance. It's not quite in the kata, but it's still conceptually what the kata is about. So lots of repetitions, lots of practice, and this can be done at home for sure. This is something that you can practice on your own, nobody else there, quiet in your own room.